go over using Desmos to create graphs. This is a very basic tutorial to help students graphing systems of equations with explicit focus on the compound interest project. You want to start by going to desmos.com, or you could click the link that we already sent you. Desmos, and then you want to click Start Graphing. It will take you to this page. This is where you can create the graphs. To start, the cool thing, you can create an account and save your graphs, which can be really fun and interesting. For now, we're just going to do it without creating an account. You're going to start by entering your first equation in this box over here. So an example of an equation that you might have would be like y equals x squared. And you can use these down here to type things in as well. So you'll see like we can do x squared using this button down here, the a to the second power. If you need to use a different power, you can hit a B, and that'll let you put in a different value there. You can also do it by using the caret symbol, so Shift 6 will give you a power as well. Okay, so if we have y equals x squared as one of them, and maybe another example, we might have something like y equals 800 times 1 plus 0.25, raising that to the x power. That's an example of like an interest function, right? Now you'll notice, we're not seeing that in our graph. Well, that's because of the scale of our graph is off. And so to fix the scale, you're going to come over here to the graph settings. You want to click that, and it'll allow you to make some decisions about what your graph is going to look like. So the first thing, the grid, is you want to make sure that one is selected. You can have arrows or not. Those are not as important. If you need to change it so that you don't have the minor grid lines, it just includes some major ones there to clean up the image, you can do that. You want to make sure that you have the axis numbers selected anytime you're going to be submitting a graph, okay? For the x-axis, this is where you would set your x and y minimums and maximums in the x-axis and the y-axis. And you can include a label as well. So for our x-axis, we already have a hint that we might want something from 0 because we were talking about a specific amount of time. And maybe the larger value that we're going to want to include is 10, because we don't want to go past 10 years. In the particular assignment that Algebra 2 students have right now, they are looking for something happening at the 6-year mark. So we're going to go up to 10 years, and we can add a label to that. So we're going to label it as time in years. And you might notice that under here that's started to show up. So then we want to change our y-axis, and we're going to go from 0 up to, and since I started at 800 here, I'm only going to go up to 1,000, and you'll see that it starts to appear here a little bit. You can see that showing up in the graph, and it's hiding down here. If I want to hide the keypad, I can see the whole thing. So you're going to want to choose a value that makes sense for you. So if you're using the initial interest value, the principal of 25,000, you're probably going to want to go up to around 40 to 50,000 as your y value. So to do that, you would just change this, and you can see like there's 5,000 and there would be 50,000. I'm only going to go to 5,000 for this particular graph. And you want to enter your units for this. Well, that's going to be dollars. So you can put just dollars. You could put amount in, then in parentheses you can put the dollar symbol. Okay. As far as the step, you can put a step in. Like for example, every year is good down here. but maybe you want to make sure you have more marks here, so you can enter 500 and it's going to give you marks for every 500 along that axis. So basically that's just saying like what your major grid lines are going to be. And once again, if you want a cleaner graph with less going on, you can remove that. Now, let's say you typed in this graph and you don't want it here. You're going to click the X and get rid of it, and now all you have left is this axis. The nice thing about using Desmos is that then you can do values like E very easily. So I'll show you an example of that. To the 0.25 x power. So now you can see like it's automatically factoring in the value of E. It's a little more complicated to do that on a different tool. So you can have control over the colors that they show up as here, or even the line style. For the particular assignment that you're working on, I would keep the line style the same, but maybe you want to use red and blue for a greater contrast. Okay, and if you need to remove all of them as well, that's also an option. Once you're done with this, I recommend you can just do the Control P or Command P depending on your device to print it, or you can take a screenshot of it. And there are tools for both Mac and PC that allow you to do that. And then you can make sure you screenshot this whole section and include your labels in it, and then just print that out. I hope this was helpful, and if you have more questions, feel free to email me.